The sun scorched Haley's skin like a brand of betrayal, each ray a reminder that love could unravel everything in an instant. Stranded in the heart of the Mojave, miles from any road, she watched the dust cloud of her grandparents' battered pickup fade into the horizon, their faces twisted not in sorrow but in righteous fury, the same fury that had built their ranch-hand lives on denial and dust. At 25, Haley had never imagined her confession would end like this, a water jug half empty at her feet, a backpack with nothing but a faded photo of Elena clutched in her fist, and the vast, indifferent silence of the desert pressing in, whispering that survival might be her only revenge. She collapsed to her knees, the hot sand burning through her jeans, and let out a sob that echoed off the jagged rocks like a gunshot in the empty wild. Elena's face in that photo, those dark eyes that had first met hers across a crowded bar in Reno, sparking a fire neither could extinguish, now blurred with tears. How had it come to this? Just weeks ago, they'd stolen weekends in hidden motels, bodies entwined under threadbare sheets, whispering futures that tasted like freedom. But family secrets have claws, and Haley's grandparents, those iron-willed guardians of a fading American dream, had clawed back harder than she'd feared. The first night fell like a shroud, stars piercing the black sky as if mocking her solitude. Haley huddled against a boulder, rationing sips from the jug, her mind racing through the betrayal's jagged edges. Grandpa Harlan, with his calloused hands and Bible-thumping sermons, had always preached that the land didn't forgive weakness, yet here he was, wielding it like a weapon against his own blood. Grandma Ruth, her voice sharp as a coyote's yelp, had spat the words that sealed it. "You're no granddaughter of mine if you choose that sin over kin." They'd driven her out here under the guise of a family talk, only to unload her like yesterday's trash, tires spinning gravel as they vanished. Dawn broke with a vengeance, the heat rising like steam from Haley's bones. She forced herself up, legs trembling, and scanned the endless sea of creosote bushes and distant mesas. No phone signal, no map, just instinct and the stubborn pulse of a heart that refused to break completely. Elena. The name was a talisman. She had to get back to her, prove that love wasn't a desert they could bury her in. Haley slung the backpack over her shoulder and picked a direction, east, toward the faint haze of what might be a highway shimmer. Each step crunched defiance into the sand, her boots, still caked from the drive, kicking up puffs that stung her eyes. By midday, thirst clawed at her throat, a dry rasp that turned every swallow into fire. She spotted a cluster of Joshua trees, their twisted arms like skeletal warnings, and collapsed in their meager shade. Flashes of memory surged unbidden. The night she met Elena at that dive bar off I-80, the air thick with cigarette smoke and jukebox twang. Elena, 24 and fierce as a storm, with olive skin glowing under neon lights and curls that begged to be tangled in fingers. Their eyes locked over a game of pool, and when Elena sank the 8-ball with a wink, Haley felt the world tilt. "You play like you mean it," Elena had said, her voice a low rumble that vibrated through Haley's chest. By closing time, they were in the parking lot, lips crashing in a kiss that tasted of whiskey and possibility. Raw, unapologetic, the kind of love that rewires your soul. But possibility had limits in a town where whispers could curdle milk. Haley's family ranch, sprawling acres of scrub and cattle near the Nevada border, was a fortress of tradition. Harlan and Ruth had raised her after her parents' car wreck when she was 10, instilling values forged in the Great Depression. Work hard, pray harder, and never let the world see your cracks. Haley had played the part, roping calves at dawn, mending fences under blistering suns, until Elena shattered the facade. 6 months of stolen moments, picnics in hidden arroyos, Elena's laughter echoing as they danced to scratchy radio tunes in the bed of Haley's truck. "We're building something real," Elena would murmur, tracing patterns on Haley's collarbone, her touch a balm against the ranch's rigid edges. The memory fueled Haley now, pushing her onward as the sun peaked. She crested a ridge, heart pounding, and spotted a dry wash snaking through the terrain, a potential water vein if rain had ever blessed it. No luck. The bed was cracked earth, mocking her with faint animal tracks. Hunger gnawed next, a hollow ache that made her fumble for the single protein bar in her pack. She chewed mechanically, eyes scanning for threats. Rattlesnakes coiled in shadows, scorpions skittering like omens. The desert wasn't just empty, it was alive with indifference, a mirror to the rejection she'd fled. As shadows lengthened, Haley stumbled upon a shallow cave, its mouth framed by ocotillo blooms like bloody fingers. She crawled inside, the cool stone a fleeting mercy, and curled around the photo, Elena's smile her only light. Sleep came in fits, haunted by dreams of the confrontation. The kitchen table under the harsh fluorescence, her grandparents' faces paling as she admitted it all. I love her, and that's not changing. Harlan's bellow, Ruth's slap. Then the drive, the abandonment. Waking to pre-dawn chill, Haley vowed silently she'd survive this, not for them, but for the woman who'd taught her what strength truly meant. Days blurred into a haze of endurance. On the third, she found a trickle from a rock seep, cupping brackish water that tasted of minerals and miracle. It bought her time, enough to fashion a crude walking stick from yucca stalk, its fibers biting into her palms like pennants. Thoughts turned inward, peeling back layers she'd long ignored. Growing up on the ranch, Haley had buried her attractions under layers of flannel and false bravado, kissing boys at county fairs, laughing off the emptiness. Elena had unearthed her, layer by tender layer, in motel rooms where walls were thin but their world was thick with whispers and sighs. By the fourth day, delirium edged in, the heat warping visions, Elena appearing in mirages, hand outstretched, only to dissolve into wavering air. Haley pressed on, navigating by the sun's arc, her skin blistering, lips cracking like parched earth. She sang fragments of old ranch songs to keep rhythm, her voice hoarse but unbroken, a ballad of lost cowboys that now felt like prophecy. The desert stripped her bare, but in that bareness, something bloomed, a clarity sharper than sagebrush thorns. Love wasn't sin, it was the spine holding her upright when family blades cut deep. Night 5 brought a storm, rare and furious, thunder cracking like divine wrath. Rain lashed the sand into mud, and Haley danced in it, gulping from the sky, laughing through chattering teeth as lightning etched the mesas in silver. It was cleansing, a baptism in the wild, washing away the shame they'd tried to drown her in. Soaked and shivering, she hunkered in her cave, plotting her return, not as the dutiful granddaughter, but as Haley reborn, fierce and unyielding. Dawn of the 6th revealed a changed landscape, rivulets carving paths, revealing hidden canyons. Haley followed one, hope flickering like a distant campfire. Exhaustion weighed her steps, but so did purpose. She'd find a road, hitch to Reno, wrap Elena in arms that bore the desert scars. And her grandparents? They'd see what abandonment forged, not weakness, but a woman who rose from ashes, love her unassailable armor. The highway shimmered into view on the 7th day, a ribbon of asphalt cutting the horizon like salvation. Haley staggered toward it, thumb out to phantom trucks, her reflection in a puddle showing a stranger, sun-darkened, eyes hollow but burning. A semi rumbled to a stop, the driver's grizzled face peering out. "You look like hell, kid. Hop in." She did, collapsing into the cab, the AC a shock of grace. "Mojave," she rasped. "Family thought it'd fix me." He nodded, no questions, just miles ticking by under wide skies. Reno's lights welcomed her like old friends, the city pulse a counterpoint to desert silence. Elena's apartment door loomed, key still under the mat, trust unbroken. Haley knocked anyway, and when it swung open, Elena's gasp was a symphony. "Haley? Oh God." Arms enveloped her, soft and sure, pulling her into the warmth she'd clawed back from oblivion. They sank to the floor, tears mingling, words tumbling like rain, explanations, fears, the raw ache of separation. In the weeks that followed, healing was a slow unfurling. Elena nursed her with broth and bandages, their nights a reclaiming, fingers tracing new scars, lips mapping paths of rediscovery. Haley found work at a local garage, wrenching engines with hands that remembered rope burns, her laughter returning like spring to the high desert. But the ranch's shadow lingered, a call she ignored until Elena pressed. "Face it, love. For you, not them." The drive back was a reckoning, dust devils swirling like ghosts along the familiar road. Harlan and Ruth waited on the porch, faces etched deeper by time and perhaps regret. Haley stepped out, Elena's hand in hers, a declaration in flesh and bone. "I'm here," she said, voice steady as canyon walls. "Not to beg forgiveness. To say I'm done hiding." Harlan's eyes flickered, Ruth's lips trembled, but the air shifted, heavy with unspoken fractures mending. Words spilled then, not in fury but truth, the pain of their rejection, the beauty of her survival, the love that had sustained her. Elena stood sentinel, her presence a quiet thunder. Harlan broke first, voice gravel. "We were wrong, child. Scared of what we didn't know." Ruth reached out, tentative, and Haley took the hand, not erasing scars, but bridging them. Months wove into years, the ranch evolving under Haley's touch, solar panels on barns, a pride flag fluttering defiant in the wind. She and Elena built a life there, roots twisting deep into reluctant soil, adoptions whispered of, gardens blooming where weeds once choked. Visitors came, drawn by tales of the woman who'd outlasted the desert, her story a beacon for others cast out. On the anniversary of that abandonment, Haley stood at the cave's mouth with Elena, the sun dipping low, painting rocks in fire. "You saved me," she murmured, pulling her close. Elena smiled, that storm-fierce gaze unchanged. "No, love. You saved yourself." In the hush, Haley knew it true. The desert hadn't broken her, it had revealed the unbreakable core, forged in love's unyielding fire. Yet strength wasn't solitary. Haley mentored runaways, her voice a steady current in support groups, sharing how survival blooms from the barren. Elena, ever her anchor, coaxed her into writing it all down, a manuscript that found its way to shelves, pages pulsing with the raw poetry of endurance. Readers wrote back, "Your story gave me courage to love out loud." One crisp autumn eve, as leaves turned gold on the ranch's lone oak, Haley knelt before Elena under strings of lantern light, ring glinting in her palm, a simple band of desert rose quartz, warm as their shared pulse. "Will you?" she asked, heart exposed. Elena's yes was a vow, sealing what the wild had tested. Their wedding was a tapestry of the reclaimed, cacti bouquets, queer kin from cities afar, Harlan and Ruth in the front row, eyes wet with hard-won grace. Vows echoed across the yard, promises of storms weathered, deserts crossed, love's quiet revolutions. As they kissed, cheers rose like thunder, the land itself seeming to exhale. Years layered on, Haley's hair threading silver, Elena's curls softening at the temples. They adopted twins, rowdy boys with Elena's fire and Haley's grit, teaching them the ranch's rhythms, laced with lessons of acceptance. Grandkids scampered later, oblivious to old wounds, their laughter the ultimate defiance. In quiet moments, Haley traced the faint scars on her arms, desert's gifts, and felt gratitude, fierce and full. She'd been left to wither, but love had watered her roots, turning survival into legacy. The Mojave whispered still, in dreams, a reminder that from abandonment comes ascent, and from love, an eternal spring. The twins' first rodeo dawned under a sky bruised purple, Haley's hands steady on the reins as she coached young Jamie through his loop. "Breathe into it, kiddo, like your mama taught you." Elena watched from the bleachers, her smile a sun all its own, pride swelling as the boy nodded, determination etching his 5-year-old brow. Life on the ranch had woven them tighter, threads of daily miracles mending what rejection had frayed. But beneath the idol, Haley carried the desert's echo, a vigilant hum, ensuring she'd never again mistake silence for safety. Morning started with coffee on the porch, Harlan's chair now Elena's favored spot, the old man content with his pipe by the fire pit. Reconciliation hadn't been linear. Apologies came in fragments, Harlan's gruff admissions over fence mending, Ruth's tentative recipes shared with Elena like olive branches. "We saw monsters where there were just folks different from us," Ruth confessed one harvest night, her arthritic hands kneading dough. Haley forgave not to erase, but to expand, room for growth in the soil they'd all tilled. The manuscript's publication had amplified it all, Desert Heart climbing charts with its unflinching prose, Haley's voice, raw as scraped knuckles, chronicling betrayal's sting and love's salve. Book tours pulled her to coasts, Elena and the boys tagging along when circuits allowed, their hotel nights a playful reclaiming amid suitcase chaos. "You're a force," Elena would tease, nuzzling her neck post-reading, the crowd's applause still ringing. Haley, ever the rancher at core, shrugged it off. "Just telling my truth. Yours made it possible." Back home, truth manifested in expansions. A bunkhouse converted to a haven for LGBTQ+ youth fleeing Bible Belt shadows, funded by royalties and community grit. Haley ran workshops there, her desert survival tale the opener. The wild doesn't judge, neither should we, drawing teens with haunted eyes who bloomed under her gaze. One girl, 17 and freshly out, mirrored young Haley. "They said I'd burn in hell." Haley pulled her into a hug, Elena hovering with hot cocoa. "Hell's what they make before you find your way out." Casey's arrival marked a pivot. The 16-year-old dropped off by a frantic aunt in a rusting sedan, her backpack stuffed with dog-eared journals and a single photo of her girlfriend back in Texas. "They found out," Casey muttered, chin jutting defiant despite the quiver. Haley saw her own ghost in those wide brown eyes, the desert's isolation flashing vivid. Elena, sensing the thread, suggested, "Stay through summer. We'll get you steady." Casey did, her hands quick with tools, mending irrigation lines alongside the boys, her laughter emerging like rain after drought. Evenings around the fire pit became ritual, stories traded like kindling. Harlan, softened by time and grandkids, shared fragments of his youth, a cousin lost to the 50s purges, whispers of "don't ask," that haunted family lore. "I buried it deep," he admitted, smoke curling skyward. "Should have dug for you instead." Ruth nodded, her quilt-draped lap a map of mended seams. The boys listened wide-eyed, Jamie piping up. "Aunt Elena's my favorite, though." Cheers erupted, love's easy victory. Haley's strength deepened in these layers, Elena her constant mirror, challenging complacency, igniting sparks with a glance across the dinner table. Their intimacy evolved, no longer frantic but profound, lazy Sundays in bed, exploring curves with the leisure of lovers who knew time's worth, whispers of futures laced with dreams of travel, perhaps a cabin in the Sierras. "You're my horizon," Haley murmured one dawn, fingers laced over Elena's belly, the boys' snores a distant lullaby. But echoes stirred unrest. A letter arrived from a distant cousin, venom-laced. "Shame on the ranch, turning queer sanctuary." Haley burned it in the pit, flames devouring judgment, yet doubt flickered. Had she truly outrun the wild's lessons? Elena pulled her close that night, their bodies aligning like puzzle edges. "We're the story now, not the scar." In her arms, Haley believed it, pulse syncing to the ranch's heartbeat. Fall brought the county fair, a whirl of cotton candy and carnival lights, the families spilling into the fray. Haley entered her roping demo, lasso singing through air, crowd whooping as she snagged the calf clean. Elena cheered loudest, the boys waving homemade signs. "Go Mama H." Harlan clapped Ruth's hand, their eyes meeting in quiet alliance. Casey, arm linked with a local girl she'd met at the bunkhouse, blushed under the Ferris wheel's glow. First sparks, Haley noted with a wink. Winter gripped gentle, snow dusting the mesas like forgotten lace. Haley and Elena stole a weekend to Reno, reclaiming the bar of their origin. Pool cues clacking, that same jukebox crooning Merle Haggard. To us, Elena toasted, glasses clinking, her foot hooking Haley's under the table. Laughter flowed, easy as the Truckee River, bodies swaying later in a honky-donk haze, kisses stolen in alley shadows, eternal beginners in love's dance. Spring unfurled with purpose. The bunkhouse's first graduation, Casey beaming in cap and gown, her Texas girl flown in for the hug. "You gave me ground to stand on," she said, voice thick. Haley teared up, Elena's thumb brushing her cheek. The ceremony ended in a bonfire bash, fiddles wailing, bodies twirling under stars that seemed closer, kinder. Yet growth demanded confrontation. A storm hit hard, flash floods carving the arroyo where Haley once dreamed of Elena in delirium. Power out, lanterns flickering, the family huddled, Harlan telling tales of Dust Bowl droughts, Ruth baking by feel. In the dim, Haley confessed deeper fears. "Sometimes I wake thinking I'm still out there alone." Elena's hand found hers. "Never again. We're your compass." Summer scorched memories alive, Haley leading a youth hike into the Mojave's fringes, Casey and a dozen others, packs light, spirits bold. At the cave, she shared the full saga, voice steady. "This place tried to end me. Instead, it began everything." Jaws dropped, then nods rippled, shared armor forged. Elena waited at trail's end, picnic spread, her presence the reward. As leaves turned again, Haley penned a sequel's outline, themes of legacy weaving through, how survival seeds community, love a river carving stone. Elena read drafts by lamplight, her edits sharp, kisses punctuating praise. "You're unstoppable," she breathed, pulling Haley atop the pages. The twins turned 8 amid chaos, piñatas bursting, cousins piling in from queer networks nationwide, a rainbow riot on ranch soil. Harlan carved the cake, Ruth iced it with trembling care. Toasts rang, to family redefined, to desserts crossed and horizons chased. In quiet aftermath, Haley and Elena walked the fence line at dusk, hands swinging, the land stretching vast and owned. "We made it," Haley said, wonder lacing her words. Elena stopped, cupping her face. "And we're just getting started." Their kiss sealed it, sunset gilding them gold, proof that from abandonment spring blooms a life unbound, love the root that endures. Whispers of change stirred in the bunkhouse that fall, Casey's budding romance with Mia, a sharp-witted artist from Sacramento, blossoming into something tangible. Haley watched from afar, a smile tugging as the girls sketched under the cottonwood, Mia's bold lines capturing Casey's quiet fire. "Like us at the start," Elena noted over breakfast, her foot nudging Haley's shin. "Remember the sketches you did on napkins?" Haley chuckled, warmth spreading. "Yes, those frantic doodles in Reno diners, Elena's profile etched in stolen moments." The ranch pulsed with new rhythms now, solar hum steady against windmill creeks, the pride flag a fixture that drew curious neighbors for fence-line chats. Harlan, ever the skeptic turned ally, even hung a smaller one in a shed, grumbling about damn bureaucrats while polishing tools. Ruth's garden expanded, herbs mingling with wildflowers Elena planted, lavender for calm, roses for the thorns they'd both borne. The boys, oblivious architects, trampled borders with glee, their muddy boots a testament to joy's messiness. Haley's book tour ramped up, coasts calling with panels on resilience and queer narratives. In New York, amid skyscraper shadows, she spoke to a hall packed with faces like fractured mirrors, youth with stories echoing her own. "The desert taught me, love isn't fragile, it's the grit that grinds mountains to dust." Applause thundered, Elena in the front row, eyes shining like beacons. Backstage, their embrace was fierce, hotel silk sheets later whispering secrets of home. Homecomings brought grounding. The boys' school play, Jamie as a cowboy poet, his lines tumbling earnest. "Family's what you lasso tight," he declared, earning Haley's proud tears. Elena filmed it all, her directorial eye capturing Ruth's sniffle, Harlan's nod. Dinner post-show devolved into charades, laughter ricocheting, Casey and Mia joining, the artist's tales of gallery grit adding urban spice to ranch lore. Winter whispered warnings, a coyote pack testing fences, their howls threading Haley's sleep with old anxieties. One night, storm-lashed, she bolted awake, Elena's arms pulling her back. Just echoes. Elena soothed, lips on her temple. They made love slow, reclaiming the dark. Bodies a map of scars and stars, breaths sinking to rain's patter. Dawn brought clarity. She'd install better gates, fortify not from fear, but provision. Spring's thaw unearthed a relic, her old backpack, unearthed by floodwaters near the arroyo, the Elena photo faded but intact. Haley framed it in the bunkhouse, caption scrawled, "The talisman that brought me home." Casey traced it one eve, Mia sketching beside, "Inspires my next series, Survivors in Sand." Collaboration sparked, the girls' art show in town featuring Haley's cave as muse, canvases alive with defiant blooms. Harlan's health faltered then, a cough lingering into pneumonia's grip. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and regret, his bed a battlefield. "Didn't say it enough," he rasped to Haley, hand frail in hers. "Proud of you, girl. Of this life you built." Tears carved paths. Elena squeezed her shoulder, the boys drawing get-well cards with crayons bold. Ruth held vigil, her prayers softer now, laced with gratitude for the daughter-in-law who'd mended more than fences. Recovery was halting, Harlan's wheelchair a temporary throne on the porch, stories flowing freer. Youth pranks in depression dust, a sister's unspoken love silenced by Ira's blade. History's a heavy load, he mused, pipe unlit. Haley listened, bridging generations, not absolving, but understanding the chains they'd all worn. Summer scorched with purpose. Bunkhouse interns arriving, a mix of dreamers and doers, their projects greening the land. Drip lines for drought, beehives buzzing equity. Haley mentored, her desert wisdom the core curriculum. Adapt or wither, but always toward light. Elena organized potlucks, her curries a fusion of her Mexican roots and ranch staples, tables groaning under Unity's feast. The twins' birthday bash doubled as a fundraiser, fairy lights strung, fiddlers tuning for a queer hoedown. Casey and Mia slow danced cheek to cheek, the crowd whooping. Jamie roped a balloon calf, earning giggles. Harlan, cane firm, toasted. To kin, blood or chosen. Glasses clinked, the night a tapestry of twirls and tales. Fall leaves carpeted paths as Haley and Elena plan their vow renewal. 10 years since the wedding, a circle under the oak. Invites winged out. Casey and Mia, now engaged. Bunkhouse alumni with partners proud. Preparations wove joy. Ruth sewing veils from heirloom lace. The boys crafting rings from horseshoe nails. The eve brought nerves, Haley pacing the kitchen, Elena's calm a counterpoint. "It's us, always has been." They slipped away to the arroyo, stars wheeling overhead, hands clasped in silent rehearsal. Dawn's ceremony unfolded flawless, words renewed, rings exchanged, kisses sealing eternities. Cheers cascaded, cake cut under confetti snow. Winter wrapped gentle, holidays a hearth of traditions blended, posada processions with luminarias, ranch carols by firelight. Harlan carved turkey, his laugh booming fuller, Ruth's tamales steamed beside pie. Gifts exchanged, a locket for Elena, etched with my horizon, for Haley, a star map of their first kiss night. Spring heralded expansions, the bunkhouse annex, funded by Book Two's buzz. Roots in the Wild, chronicling communal rebirth. Launch party on ranch grounds, authors and activists mingling, Casey's forward glowing. Haley showed me homes of verb. Summer's heat tested anew, a wildfire licking distant ridges, evac sirens wailing. The family mobilized, horses trailered, bunkhouse cleared. Haley's commands crisp from crisis memory. Hoses snaked, neighbors rallied. Rain blessed at midnight, flames quelled to smoke. Aftermath forged tighter bonds, rebuild barbecues birthing alliances. As leaves turned once more, Haley stood at the fence line with Elena, twins chasing fireflies, Casey and Mia sketching nearby. Legacy, Haley breathed, arm around her wife's waist. Elena leaned in. Ours to keep growing. The land-side agreement, a canvas of conquests, proof that love, once abandoned, returns not just stronger, but a force reshaping worlds. Echoes of the fire lingered in charred stumps, but so did renewal's green shoots, Haley knee-deep in replanting, sweat beading as she patted soil around saplings. Elena hauled water buckets, her laugh cutting tension when a hose kinked comically. Teamwork's our superpower, she quipped, splashing Haley playful. The boys darted between, helping with muddy enthusiasm, their chatter a balm against ash-scent memories. Book Two's release rippled wider, podcasts inviting Haley to unpack queer ranch life, from Outcast to Out Loud. Listeners flooded inboxes, a Texan teen echoing Casey's flight, a elder coming out at 70. Each note a thread, weaving Haley's solitude into solidarity. Elena proofed the audiobook, her voiceover for Elena's chapters adding intimate timbre, nights dissolving into recordings laced with off-mic kisses. Harlan's full return to chores marked milestones, his hammer swinging fence posts with renewed vigor. Doc says I'm stubborn as you, he teased Haley over lunch, Ruth's chili steaming. Stories surfaced freer. Anam Buddy's unspoken grief, parallels to Haley's hidden years. Wars inside are the worst, he grunted. Empathy bloomed, fragile but real. Casey and Mia's engagement party lit the bunkhouse, string lights twinkling, Mia's ring a swirl of turquoise and silver, desert soul. Toasts flowed, Casey's "You lassoed my heart," earning cheers, Haley's quiet, "Welcome to the herd." Dances spilled into dawn, bodies swaying to conjunto beats Elena curated, the night a pledge to perpetuities. Winter's hush brought introspection, Haley journaling by window frost, pen scratching reflections on forgiveness's folds. Elena joined, their entries alternating, love letters disguised as prose. "Your strength's my scaffold," Elena wrote. Haley replied, "Your fire lights my way." Shared pages bound them deeper, a private epic. Spring's art show in town showcased Mia's series, Sanborn. Canvases of Haley's cave alive with spectral lovers, colors bleeding resilience. Sold out swift, proceeds to bunkhouse funds. Casey beamed, her own poems chapbook bound beside. Haley's forward praised, art's the echo that outlasts storms. Summer swelled with interns' energy, a coder teen hacking solar apps, a poet chronicling ranch rhythms. Haley's workshops evolved, survival narratives, blending desert lore with personal maps. One evening, a shy non-binary kid shared, "Your book made me pack my bag." Haley hugged them fierce, "And we'll help you land soft." The twin school project, family tree diorama, sparked pride, Jamie gluing photos, Elena's branch bold beside Haley's, Harlan's nodding approval. Presentation night, parents awed, teacher noting, a model of inclusive roots. Home, ice cream celebrations melted into bedtime tales, Haley spinning desert yarns with heroic twists. Fall harvest hummed communal, volunteers pitching in, laughter amid hay bales. Elena's orchard yielded first apples, pies cooling on sills, Ruth's recipe tweaked with cinnamon zing. Feast under harvest moon, fiddles calling squares, Harlan twirling Ruth tentative, the sight a quiet victory. As leaves crisped, Haley and Elena escape to the Sierras, cabin rented for solitude's sake. Trails wound through pines, packs light, hands linked. Summit views stretched endless, echoing Mojave vastness, but softer, cradling. Our next chapter, Elena said, picnicking on granite. Haley nodded, sketching dreams. Bunkhouse expansions, boys' college funds, perhaps a podcast amplifying voices. Winter gales tested resolve, a roof leak in the old barn demanding midnight fixes. Haley and Harlan side by side, tarps flapping, their banter a bridge. Like old times, minus the lectures. His chuckle warmed. For the best. Dawn's repair sealed more than shingles, generations aligned. Spring birthed a bunkhouse baby, one intern's partner delivering amid lilac bloom, Haley coaching breaths, Elena boiling water ranch style. Tiny cries filled air, names chosen. Jordan, unisex strong. Christening picnic followed, community cradling the new life, cycle unbroken. Summer's heatwave strained, but communal wells ran deep. Potlucks cooling evenings, stories swapping sweat. Casey and Mia's wedding planning woven. Venue the Arroyo, vows under string lights. Haley officiated practice, voice steady. Loves the land we till together. The ceremony unfolded magic. Casey in sundress fierce, Mia's suit tailored sharp, Arroyo banks lined with wildflowers. Rings exchanged to river song, kisses sealing amid petals tossed. Reception danced till stars wheeled, Haley pulling Elena for a spin, eternal partners in the fray. Fall's book tour pulled Haley east again, Elena holding fort with tales via video. In D.C., policy talks on queer youth housing, Haley's testimony raw. Abandonment's not justice, it's a call to build better. Bills stirred, ripples from her words. Winter solstice ritual emerged, lantern-lit circle, each sharing gratitudes, boys for ponies, Ruth's for kin's return. Haley's, for deserts that birthed this bounty. Elena's gaze locked, for the woman who crossed it. Spring's renewal fair drew crowds, bunkhouse booths buzzing. Art, zines, Haley's readings. A fan gifted a carved walking stick, Yucca Echo, for your next trek. Laughter lightened loads. Summer closed the loop. Wildfire scars now meadows, butterflies dancing new growth. Haley stood with Elena at the cave trailhead, twins racing ahead, Casey and Mia honeymooning nearby. Full circle, Haley murmured. Elena kissed her brow, and spinning wider. The horizon beckoned, love's legacy a living flame, unquenchable, ever-expanding. Whispers of legacy thickened as the boys hit 10, their question sharpening. Why'd Grandma and Grandpa leave you? Jamie asked one dusk, roping practice paused. Haley knelt, lasso loose. Fear makes folks do hard things. But love, it pulls you back stronger. Elena nodded from the fence, her presence the unspoken answer. Harlan, overhearing, added gruff, and families learning every day. The bunkhouse thrived, now a non-profit hub, Desert Roots Collective, grants flowing for programs blending eco-justice and queer advocacy. Haley keynote fundraisers, her voice a prairie fire. From isolation to interconnection, that's our map. Elena managed ops, her spreadsheets as meticulous as her embraces, nights collapsing into debriefs that dissolved into desire, bodies reacquainting under desk lamplight. Ruth's 80th dawned with fanfare, ranch decked in balloons, kin converging. Speeches lauded her quiet evolutions, from silent disapproval to tamale maestro at pride picnics. I was blind, she admitted, cake knife poised, but love opened eyes. Hugs encircled, tears sweet. The boys' serenade, off-key but earnest, sealed joy. Casey's art therapy workshops bloomed, Mia facilitating, trauma's colors coaxed onto canvas for bunkhouse youth. One session, a trans kid painted Haley's cave as Phoenix Nest. The piece hung central, title, Reborn in Red. Haley teared, pinning it, Art heals what words can't touch. Summer's internship cohort included a journalist, profiling the ranch for a queer mag spread. Photos captured essence. Haley wrenching a solar panel, Elena corralling boys for chores, Harlan whittling by the fire. Headlines sang, "Love's Lasting Land." Circulation spiked donations, borders blurring. Fall's vow renewal for Casey and Mia pulled the collective into planning. Arroyo altars of stone and bloom, vows scripted communal. Haley walked Casey down the aisle, arm linked proud. Elena stood with Mia, eyes misty. Rings glinted sunset gold, promises rippling. Through wildfires and whispers we're rooted. Winter's craft fair bustled bunkhouse halls, stalls of handmade, zines, jewelry, Haley's signed stacks. A snow-dusted vendor row drew locals wary at first, then warming to stories swapped over cider. One elder, cane tapping, confessed, "Hid my own truths for decades. Your courage calls mine out." Handshakes lingered, bridges built in frost. Spring equinox hike marked tradition, collective youth trailing Haley to the cave, journals in tow, pens poised for revelations. Shares circled, lost homes, found families. Haley closed. The desert doesn't define, it refines. Descents brought picnics, Elena's burritos fueling bonds. The twins' tween angst emerged subtle, crushes confessed in whispers, Jamie's on a classmate boy, his brow furrowed. Haley fielded gentle. Hearts find their way, we just clear the path. Elena added stories of her own fumbling youth, normalizing the navigation. Pride swelled, parenting a craft honed in vulnerability. Summer heat birthed a podcast, Roots Rewild. Haley hosting, Elena producing, episodes threading survivor tales with ranch rhythms. First guest, Casey. Voice steady on her flight, downloads surged, invites to queer fests. Recording nights ended in laughter-laced edits, wine loosening tongues and limbs. Fall harvest yielded record, communal threshing a symphony of scythes and songs. Elena's orchard bounty starred in pies, boys competing for biggest slice. Harlan judged biased. All winners in my book. Evenings waned into star parties, telescopes trained, constellations naming dreams. Winter solstice deepened, circle expanding to bunkhouse residents, candles flickering, gratitudes global, a refugees for sanctuary, a vets for visibility. Haley's, for echoes that became anthems. Elena's hand in hers grounded the swell. Spring's book 3 brewed, wild kinships, outlining communal cartographies. Beta readers, Casey, Mia, even Ruth, offered insights raw. Launch loomed, but Haley savored process, Elena's read pen a lover's mark. Summer's youth camp filled fields, tents pitched, Haley leading trust falls echoing her falls. One night, campfire confessions, a kid's rejection mirroring hers. You'll rise, she vowed, Elena's guitar strumming solace. Falls County Council bid stirred, Haley running for seat, platform eco-queer equity. Campaign trails wove ranch visits, speeches firing. Land and love deserve defenders. Elena strategized signs, boys waving pint-sized placards. Election night crackled, collective gathered, ballots tallied tense. Victory bells rang. Haley seated, first out rep in decades. Cheers erupted, Elena's kiss triumphant. Councilwoman heart. Swearing in dawned, hand on a rainbow constitution, oath echoing, service from survival. Winter's policy pushes began, Haley lobbying for youth shelters, voice amplified by book clout. Allies multiplied, dinners debating bills over Ruth's roasts. Harlan attended one, suit stiff. Speak truth, girl. I'll back it. Spring blooms framed first wins. Funding secured for regional bunkhouses. Haley's op-ed, from desert castaway to community architect, went viral, TED invite following. Summer closed with camp reprise, fireside now featuring council tales. Youth eyes widened. You make change. Haley demurred. We all do, together. As leaves gilded, Haley reflected porch side with Elena, twins Abed, stars pricking velvet. From alone to this, she marveled. Elena nestled close, loves the longest trail. Horizon hummed agreement, their story a seedbed for endless springs, resilient, radiant, relentlessly kind. Council chambers loomed formal, wood-paneled weight pressing Haley's shoulders as she navigated first debates, agendas thick with zoning tussles, her voice cutting clear on affordable housing for marginalized youth. Equity isn't charity, it's infrastructure, she argued, eyes locking foes. Elena prepped briefs at home, her texts pep talks. Slay, cowgirl. Wins stacked small but steady, ranch as sounding board for war stories over supper. The twins' middle school dance loomed, nerves knotting Jamie's tie, his crush boy date shy sweet. Haley coached. Be you, that's magnetic. Elena added makeup tips, her flair turning cheeks rosy. Drop off curbside, waves exchanged. Pickup tales tumbled joyous. First slow dance, hearts aflutter. Pride parental, lessons lived. Bunkhouse expansions broke ground. New cabins rising like phoenix bones, solar roofs glinting. Casey oversaw murals, Mia's designs blooming defiant, vines of intertwined hands, colors queer spectrum bold. Opening gala drew donors, Haley's toast, sanctuaries from scars. Fall's TED Talk taped in Reno, Haley pacing green room, Elena's good luck kiss lingering. Stage lights hot as Mojave noon, words flowing. Abandonment's wilderness birthed my wilderness wisdom, love as compass, community as camp. Ovation thundered, views viral, invites cascading. Winter's grant cycle peaked, Haley wrangling funds for statewide network, Desert Roots chapters sprouting. Coalition dinners buzzed, Ruth catering tamales, her pride quiet. My girls changing maps. Harlan nodded. About time. Spring's Youth Summit hosted on ranch grounds, teens converging for panels, Haley moderating reclaiming roots. Shares seared, a kid's conversion therapy escape. Echoes of Haley's hush. Elena facilitated art jams, canvases cathartic. Summer's family road trip looped national parks, Zion slots mirroring inner climbs, boys gaping at arches. Evenings campfire bound, stories swapped. Elena's Abuela tales, Haley's desert dirge turned triumph. Harlan, shotgun marveled. Land's bigger in your eyes now. Fall elections loomed Reeve, Haley's platform solidified, green jobs for queer vets, inclusive ed mandates. Campaigns swelled volunteer, bunkhouse alums canvassing, signs sprouting like spring weeds. Debates crackled, opponents sneering radical, Haley retorting. Real, lived it. Victory margin widened, swearing in a collective cheer, Elena's bouquet wildflowers. First act. Ordinance shielding LGBTQ+ farms from bias suits. Press lauded. From outcast to advocate. Winter holidays fused traditions grandeur. Posada procession snaking ranch, luminarias lighting paths to bonfire bash. Boys led piñata charge, candy chaos reigning. Ruth's hot cocoa spiked adult. Toast to kin, through frosts and fires. Spring birthed book 4 seeds, policy of the heart. Drafts scribbled council side, Elena editing evens. Beta's circle grew, Jamie's doodles, Casey's poetry infusions. Summer camp evolved immersive, survival sims in safe wilds, Haley guiding, water finds, fire starts, trust builds. One eve, a counselor's share. Your survival's my survival kit. Bonds braised. Fall's Harvest Moon Run 5K fundraised bunkhouse, runners in rainbow gear, Haley pacing front pack. Finish line ribbons, Elena's medal kiss. My champion. Podium speech. Every step from desert to here. Winter solstice swelled epic, collective circle vast, drums pulsing, gratitude's choral. Haley's, for voices that vote with heart. Elena's whisper post, and mine votes you eternal. Spring's summit redux drew national eyes, keynotes from allies, Haley's closing. Roots entwine. We rise collective. Media buzzed. Op-eds syndicating. Summer's twins turned 12, tween towers plotting pranks, forts and haylofts, slingshot wars. Haley refereed. Elena baked truce brownies, lessons in limits laced fun. Fall book launch packed town hall, policy, pages pulsing policy poetry hybrid. Readings wrapped, Q&A deep, a policy wonks how do you humanize bills? Haley. Lived the gaps. Winter's bill passage crowned year. Youth Protection Act, Haley's pen stroke seminal. Celebration ranch rager. Fiddles flying, Harlan dancing Ruth loose. Spring blooms heralded expansions. Satellite bunkhouse in Reno, Haley ribbon cutting, Elena's speech. From bar kiss to this beacon. Summer closed with park revisit, arches framing family silhouette. Boys taller, Harlan frilier but fierce. Haley's journal entry. Full arcs. As leaves flamed, council chambers reseated for sabbatical, Haley plotting Sabbath. Sierra's again, Elena's hand in hers. Rest to reignite, she said. Horizon whispered yes, love's governance boundless. Legacy, a living code. Sabbatical dawned deliberate. Haley trading gavel for trail maps. The Sierra's granite embrace a reset. Cabin days unspooled slow. Mornings hiking cirques. Elena's pack shared. Conversations meandering like creeks. Dreams of boys' futures. Bunkhouse empires. Evenings by stove. Stew simmering. Bodies curling to crackle. Intimacy's quiet crescendo. Whispers weaving plans. News from home hum steady. Casey's mural commission for City Hall. Mia's exhibit touring. Jamie's coming out letter arrived midweek. Gentle words to crush. Haley's reply typed tear-streaked. Proud beyond prairie's sun. Loves your launch pad. Elena sealed with sticker heart. Harlan's letters arrived weekly. Script shakier but spirit stout. Ranch, misses your bossing, but Ruth's pies hold fort. Enclosures. Boys' drawings, crude counsels of stick figures. Replies flew back, Haley's voice vivid on pages. Fall's return stirred rust, council agendas piled, but Haley Dove renewed, bills blooming bolder, queer climate caucus chaired. Elena's ops scaled, collective chapters chartering in Boise, Salt Lake. Virtual trainings bridged, Haley's desert module core. Adaptation's queerest lesson. Winter's youth ball glitzed bunkhouse, teens tuxed and gowned, Haley DJing sets with Elena's playlist flare. Dances awkward to electric, crushes kindled, Jamie attended, date beaming, Haley's wingman. Spring's policy push peaked, inclusive ed overhaul, Haley testifying, voice velvet steel. Textbooks, without us erase futures. Passage party porch poured, toasts to textbooks rewritten. Summer's family fusion camp hosted hybrid, ranch roots, Sierra souls, boys leading hikes, Casey counseling crafts. One night, Star Circle shares, a new kids I ran like you, Haley's hug horizon wide. Fall elections shadowed by scandals, opponents slinging mud, old rumors dredged, desert tale twisted tabloid. Haley countered calm. Presser with Elena flank. My story's strength, not scandal. Voters vindicated. Margin monumental. Winter's solstice innovated. Lantern launch. Wishes lit and loosed. Boys for adventures. Ruth's for health. Haley's floated tandem with Elena's. Deeper entwinings. Spring birthed grands. Casey and Mia's adoption finalized. Tiny Theo wide-eyed wonder. Ranch christening chaotic cute. Haley cradling. Welcome, wild one. Naptime rockings. Lullabies layered. Summer's book 5 brewed. Entwined ecologies. Eco-queer thesis. Drafts trail-tested. Elena's illustrations sketch summits. Her eye capturing contours kin to curves. Fall's harvest hoedown hybridized. Contra lines with cumbia. Harlan attempting twists. Laughter loosening limbs. Pies prized. Elena's apple chili fusion fan fave. Winter's Grant Gala gown the collective, Haley emceeing, bids benefiting builds. Paddle raises reigned, closing auction, signed cave photo, fetching fierce. Spring Summit scaled national, DC draw, Haley keynoting capital. Queer lands, queer laws, interwoven imperatives. Bills budged, alliances annealed. Summer twins bar mitzvah bat, hybrid honored blended faiths. Jamie's Haftarah heartfelt, sisters bat playful. Ranch synagogue temporary, kin chanting chorus. Fall's policy pinnacle, federal funding funneled for rural queer hubs, Haley's lobby laurels. Press parade, rancher revolution. Winter holidays haloed by Theo's first steps, ranch romped toddler-proof. Boys babysat beaming, Elena's photos framing frolics. Spring's book launch bloomed beltway, entwined, embraced, reviews raving lyrical legislation. Tour touch bases, home halls heavy with swag. Summer close Sabbath style, Arroyo afternoon, family flotilla tubing lazy river. Laughter lapped, Haley's arm Elena's anchor. This is governance. As leaves layered, council cycles cycled, Haley eyeing higher, state senate whispers. Elena's counsel, if heart leads. Horizon haloed hope, love's ladder limitless. Steps shared steadfast. State Senate bid crystallized crisp, Haley's platform prairie bold. Rural revival through rainbow resilience. Campaign caravan counties, Elena's van stocked snack strategies. Boys waving signs schoolside. Debates dice sharp, Haley's retorts ranch honed. I've survived worse than whispers, let's build better. Bunkhouse backed boundless, interns canvassing, Casey's posters popping, Mia's merch magnetic. Harlan hosted meet greets, grill master gravitas. Vote her, she's family fixed. Ruth's cookies clinched converts. Winter's whistle stop wove holidays, tree trimming with Theo giggling, Jamie's menorah lighting alongside Elena's kin. Solstice shares soared. Grand's gurgles, Haley's for futures unfenced. Spring primary pulsed pulse quick, polls neck. Victory veiled till tallies tipped. Nomination nailed. General Gauntlet grinned grim. Opponents ads aspersing, Haley's ads authentic. Desert clips, Elena's endorsement earnest. Summer scorched stump speeches, fairs fading, boys barnstorming booths. Theo toddled trails, Casey's cradle coups calming campaign craze. Book 6 sketch sidelines, Senate of Souls, narrative policy prelude. Fall frenzy peaked, election eve of vigils, collective candles casting calm. Tallies trickled triumphant, Senate seat secured. Haley historic, first lesbian rancher rep. Capitol convoyed kin, swearing in sob swells, Elena's grip grounding. Freshman term forged fast, committees claimed, AG, environment, human rights. Bills brewed bipartisan, Haley's bridge-building bomb. Nights navigated nauseam, Elena's dinners debriefed delights, steaks seared, stories spiced. Winter recess returned ranch-rooted, snow sleds with grands, Jamie's jazz recital wrapped. Harlan's health held, holiday hearth is thrown, proud swell girl. Spring session surged, landmark land trust law, protecting queer farms federal. Haley's floor speech fire, soil sacred, sows the sweat on it. Passage paraded, press proclaiming pioneer. Summer's Youth Leadership Lab launched, Senate sponsored, Haley headlining. Legislate your legacies. Attendees awed, one teens, you're why I stayed searing. Fall's family fusion swelled. Theo's first words, Mama H. Boys' braces gleaming, Casey's second sprout brewing. Ranch reunion romped, Elena's feast fusion fabulous. Winter's welfare winds wove, foster reforms favoring queer placements, Haley's testimony tearjerk. Recess reveled, ice skating, Theo's wobbles winsome. Spring's book launch legislated lit, Senate serialized syndicates, reviews reverent. Policy as poetry. Tour testified, Homecoming's heartfelt. Summer Senate stint spotlighted. TEDx Global. From Mojave to Marble. Views vaulted, voices volleyed. Global gaze grateful. Fall midterm maneuvers mapped. Haley mentoring newbies. Elena's events elegant. Harvest home healed hustle. Pies piled. Winter solstice sanctified Senate scars. Circle colossal. Grand's giggles. Bill's birth shared. Haley's. For halls that hold us all. Spring sanctuary summit stateside. Bunkhouse blueprint beamed. Youth yarns yarned. Haley's hug hub. Summer's twins teen tackled. Driver's ed dares. Crushes confessed compound. Haley's helm lessons lace love. Fall's policy pinnacle. National Queer AG Act. Haley's hallmark. Signing ceremony sun-soaked. King clustered. Elena's epic ear whispered. Winter wrapped wondrous. Theo's twos tantrums tamed. Jamie's jazz jamming. Ranch rhythms recharged resolve. Spring blooms book 7. Global groves. Eco-allies abroad-eyed. Drafts diplomatic. Elena's edits exotic. Summer Senate Sabbath Sierra's redux. Senate stress shed. Stargazing souls synced. Grands gambled. Harlan's hikes halting but happy. Fall's family fortifies. Casey's kiddo kindled. Mia's murals multiply. Campaign coups collective. Winter's welfare wave. Trans rights reinforced. Haley's rally rousing. Vittive. Gogwa gazon. Tausha duns. Spring summit scale supreme. Youth yodel yields. Book buzz builds. Summer Senate spotlight. UN queer climate convene. Haley's hearth global. As leaves linger, Haley ponders presidency whispers. Elena's ear. If soul summons. Horizon hails. Love's legislature luminous. Legacy a luminous line.